Okay. Hello. Hi guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I decided to do a live today, a live session so I can show everyone how to fill the Global Career Scholarship application form for 2025. If you do not know, the Global Career Scholarship guideline, application, university, and all the details were released yesterday. So it's on the studyinkorea.go.kr website. So if you intend applying for the 2025 Global Career Scholarship for Graduates Program, graduates, doctorates, research, then you should visit the website and download all the necessary documents. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and I will show you guys how to download the documents if you do not know how to. And for those that know how to, we'll just go into the application form filling. And for the application form filling, I'm basically going to explain how to fill the form. And I would recommend that if you want to fill the form, you should use like what they call it, like MS Word to fill the form so you can be able to tick and fill properly. So yes, let's begin. So I'm going to share my screen now on how to fill the form. So this is the website studyinkorea.go.kr. So if you go to the website here, you'll be able to find GKS. So when you click on GKS, you will see that the first thing here is the 2025 application guidelines for global career scholarship for graduate degree, and you have to click this for you to be able to download. Please ensure you read through carefully. And then these are the files which you have to download. You have to download the application guidelines, you have to download the form and the university information. Some persons would be wondering, oh, when is the deadline? When is the due date for the application? But it depends on the university which you're applying to, or it depends like whether you're applying by the embassy track or the university track. So if you're applying to the embassy track, then each country's embassy usually announce like the due deadline for application when they would stop receiving applications. So you have to check with the embassy. Or for Nigeria, for example, it's usually the Korean Cultural Center that informs us on when the deadline is due. So you have to check with KCC and via their Instagram. They usually post always on their Instagram. So you'd see the deadline for application. Meanwhile, how to fill the form, that's after you've downloaded this document, the guidelines. If you download the guidelines, please read the guidelines carefully, line by line, and then the application form. So the I'll share my screen for the application form. 어디에 있는지 잘 모르겠는데 I think this is it. Okay, I'll just look for it because I'm not sure if I had it here before or not. Okay, I think I closed the document, so I'll just check again. And then, yes. So this is the 25 Global Career Scholarship Graduates degree application form. This is what it looks like. This is a checklist of all the documents which you're required to provide if you're applying for whatever program. So to begin with, the first thing which you have to fill is the name of the institution receiving the application. Sorry, the first thing is like the embassy, the university track. So you have to decide on which track you're going for. If you're going for the embassy track, then you should click the embassy track. If you're going for the university track, then you should click the university track. Ensure that the box is clicked, marked, and not dotted black or something. Ensure it's ticked, like marked. And then What okay. Okay. And then the next thing after you've chosen which track you're applying for, you have to fill the name of the institution receiving the application. So for this part of receiving application, for Nigeria, some persons usually fill in the Korean Cultural Center Nigeria because that is the place which we usually submit our own documents for the application. However, you can use the I'm trying to find it from the guidelines so I can show. You can simply put the Embassy of the Federal Republic of Korea in Nigeria if you are applying via the embassy track. Well, and then if you're not sure how to check your embassy's name, you can go to the guidelines. I don't know if this is visible, but when you go to the guidelines, there is the list of all the embassies and their names, how they should be written. So for Nigeria, where is it? So for Nigeria, it is okay. For Nigeria, I'll just read it out. For Nigeria, it is written Embassy of the Republic of Korea in Nigeria. For my application, that was what I filled. So you can choose to either put the receiving institution as Korean Cultural Center Nigeria, or you can put it as the Embassy of the Republic of Korea in Nigeria if you're applying via the embassy track. Whereas if you're applying via the university track, then you should put in the exact name of the university you're applying to as it is spelled on the documents in the GKS form or in the GKS university guideline. So if you do not know the name of your embassy as it is written, please refer to the guidelines. Please refer to the guidelines, the appendix, like towards the end, Appendix B. There's usually contact of Korea embassies. So you can check the name of your country's embassy that way and fill it exactly there. So your name, for name, you have to fill in accordingly applicant's full name, family name, given name, and middle name. So your family name should be your surname. The given name, probably your birth name. Yes, and then if you have a middle name, then you should add that. But if you do not have a middle name, then you can also leave that. So you have to put your family name first, your given name, and then your middle name. Not your nickname. Please do not put nicknames because the name on your application will have to tally with that on your international passport if you're going to submit your international passport now or later on if they request for it. It has to tally with the name on your international passport. So be careful filling the name. And then citizenship. You have to fill your citizenship, for example, Nigerian, Cameroonian, Ghanaian, Indian, Pakistani, and American, and wherever your nationality or wherever you come from. And then for the checklist, do not leave the checklist blank. You have to tick everything because all of these, especially the documents that are required, you have to ensure you tick them. Don't just leave it blank. So if you're applying for the master's program, then first of all, the you need to tick this part. You need to tick this box here. If you're applying for the master's program, if you're applying for the doctoral, you have to tick the box, research, and so on. Then after you've ticked this box, make sure you tick it, do not leave it empty. You need to check that you have all these documents, especially the documents that are shown as required. They are documents that you must have. They are mandatory documents. So when you're arranging your documents, I'm going to make a separate video for arranging documents though, but when you're arranging your documents, the checklist has to come first because they would look at this checklist and make sure that your documents tally with what you've checked here. So if you're for masters, you should check the masters and then application form. You should check that. Personal statement, which you've written, check. Study plan, check. As you can see, it is required for masters, so ensure you check, except if you're applying for research. Then research proposal is not required for masters, so you don't need to check that. 1 letter of recommendation, which is required, make sure you provide and check in the box here. Then Korean language program exception applicants, that's for only those applicable for current professor applicants. There is a different kind of application, but if it is relevant to you, then you should check it. If it is not relevant to you, then you should not check it. As it is written, relevant applicants. So if it is relevant to you, then check it. And then the GKS applicant agreement, which is required, it is part of the form already, so you have to check that. The personal medical assessment is part of the form, so you also have to check that. Consent to collect and use personal information is part of the form, so you have to check that. Then the bachelor's graduation certificate. Sorry, did I skip something? Yes. Applicant's parents' proof of citizenship, which is usually like your parents' NIN, for Nigerians, your parents' NIN or your parents' voters card for both Nigerians and other countries, or your parents' means of identification, including it could be their passport as well. But so far as it shows like the relationship between you and your parents. So applicants' parents' proof of citizenship should be provided as it is required and checked. Bachelor's graduation certificate, you have to provide it and check. Bachelor's degree transcript, provide and check. And then this is for master's degree. I think I should zoom in a little bit on this. And then for master's degree, for doctoral applicants, they have to provide their master's graduation certificate, master's degree transcript and check, doctoral graduation certificate and check for research, doctoral degree transcript and check. That's also for research applicants, and then certificate of employment. It is not required for masters, so you do not have to make provision for that. And then you have the proof of overseas Korean documents. If you are an applicant who have like overseas, if you're an applicant who is Korean and you've based overseas for some time, you have to provide a document that proves that, or if you're a Korean adoptee, then you have to provide a document that proves that. Then you also have to provide documents for citizenship, Korean citizenship, for applicants whom it is applicable, they have to provide it. As you can see, these documents are optional, which means they are not mandatory for an application. They would not affect your application whether you have them or not, the optional documents. Then score report or valid topic. If you have a topic, then you should provide this and check. If you've included your awards and certificates, you should provide it and check. And then your passport is also optional, but if you do have your passport, then you should provide your passport and check as well. So the documents that are optional, even though you have them, you can provide. If you do not have them, then you let them be. But if you have provided them, then ensure you check the boxes. Don't leave the boxes blank. If you've provided them, then ensure you check the boxes. Then for the documents that are required, they are mandatory. So which means you have to have these documents, right, in your application, because as I said before, the checklist is usually the first page followed by the application form and every other document that is required. So ensure you check your checklist. Very important. As much as you can, avoid making any mistakes on your application form. Then when you're done with your checklist, you have to move on to form 1, which is the track which you'll be applying via. If you're applying via any of these track, you should select them. But before you do that, be very careful with filling your application form. Hence, you should read carefully. You should literally count words, read the instructions carefully before filling. Do not just feel like, oh, I already know how to fill this, so I would go ahead and fill it. Ensure you read the instructions. As it says, items marked in red box are required for all applicants, which means you must fill it. And then delete all pink colored examples before submitting the application form. Make sure you read the instructions because this, as simple as it seems, it might affect your application. So delete all pink colored examples which have been provided before submitting the application, and all information must be typed in English only. Do not use any other language. If you're not sure or if your English is not too good, you can ask your professor or someone to assist you. Otherwise, you can always use a translator, but you have to be sure that the translator you're using is accurate enough. And then moving on, you have to choose your track. Are you applying via the embassy track or you're applying via the university track? For the embassy track, if you click the box, make sure you tick the box. When you tick the box, are you applying under the general program or applying as an overseas Korean, or if you're a Ukrainian, then you have to choose like the international reconstruction talents if you're applying via that. So for the embassy track, you have to choose one of these. So if you're applying via the embassy track for as a Nigerian, you should make sure you tick the general because that's what you're going for. Except if you're an overseas Korean in Nigeria, then you should tick overseas Korean or the other one. And then for the university track, you have to select your program. If you're applying via university track, and ensure you've ticked this box. Don't leave it blank. All the boxes that are provided for you to tick, you have to tick. So ensure you've ticked the box for university track, and then you have to select only one program via the university track. So if you're applying for general, you have to select general. If you're applying for RGKS, which is regional GKS, you have to select RGKS. If you're applying as a research applicant, you have to choose research. If you're applying for R&D or so on and so forth, you have to choose one of these anyways. And then for international organization programs, this part is only for applicants of the international organization program. Basically, applicants who have been, what they call it, who have been recommended for GKS via international organizations, they will have to fill this. But if this does not concern you, do not click anything here. But if it does, please ensure you click what you're supposed to choose, or you choose what you're supposed to choose. And then for degree program to apply, you have to choose which degree program you're applying for. Are you applying for the master's? Are you applying for the doctoral? Or are you applying for the research? So if you're applying for the master's, which I believe most people usually go for, then you have to choose that. But if you're for doctoral or research, then please click the box that is applicable to you. Then the next part is your field of studies. For this field of studies, some persons, their universities might have like, well, if you're, for example, if you're applying via embassy track and you choose three different universities, your three different universities might have like three different fields of study. For example, I did fill in for international relations, and for some schools I selected, international relations was under liberal arts, while for some of them it was under social science. So in this place, you have to choose where applicable as they instructed. You can select multiple fields. So if your university, for example, if the course you're going to do at University A has their course under liberal arts, then please click liberal arts. But if it is under social science, then you should click the social science. But if it's under liberal arts, social science, and something else, then ensure you choose all three or all four as it may be applicable. Ensure you choose multiple options. But if it's just one field for all three, then please choose just one field for all three. Then moving on to information of the applicant. For information, you have to be very careful about this part because you have to spell your name correctly. You have to fill every detail correctly. And then for the photo part, you usually take a passport and then attach it to this place at the end of the day. Do not print your passport here. No, take a passport. When you've printed out your form, then you attach the passport. You attach the passport to it. So for this part, your full name has to be written here. If if the if you're typing, for example, let's say family name is Moses. If you do type and it comes out italicized, you can change that. Well, okay, you can change that because the information is what should, or the instruction which was already provided is what is italicized, but your name should be written in a straight font and not italicized. And then your given name as well. um let's say your given name is Grace. If you do type Grace, ensure you change that from italicized form, and then your middle name. I don't know. Let's say um let's say your middle name is Lizzie. So you use Lizzie. Make sure you change that as well. So your name has to be in a straight font and not an italicized font. Avoid making any mistakes on your application. Try to give in your best. Try to be very careful with your application. And then moving on, remember the instruction that says you should delete all pink examples. So this is a typical situation. So make sure you do not leave this. Make sure you do not leave it. You can look at the format and then when you're done, delete it. So what you're supposed to do is type your date of birth accordingly. You're supposed to type year, the year first, maybe 2020, 2002, or whichever year, and then the month and then the date. So you have to type accordingly as this example has been given to you, but make sure you delete the pink example once you're done. Do not leave that pink example. So when you delete, you can go ahead and type yours. 1990, 10, 20 seconds. So you can type yours. And then you have to put in your gender, whatever gender it may be. Sorry, this is supposed to be on this other side. Okay. The date of birth should be typed here in this box and not where I typed it. So that was for example's sake or just to show, but this is the proper place where you're supposed to type it and not there, because here what you had was the provided example. And then you have to choose your gender and then country of citizenship. Where are you from? You have to do that here, or Egypt, or wherever you're from. And then for Korean citizenship, um, this is not applicable to you. Applicants' parents, if any one of your parents has Korean citizenship, check yes. So you have to check no. Are you, well, except if applicable, and also for here, yes or no, you have to choose that. Then current or previous GKS scholar, you have to choose yes or no, and then fill in your address correctly, and most especially your phone number, because sometimes if you're applying via the university track, sometimes they tend to call you for interviews or text you or email you or something to schedule your interview. So fill in this part very carefully. So your address, your phone number, and your email. Don't forget to not leave this pink thing. Do not leave that. Avoid mistakes. Do not leave the pink examples. And then enter your email correctly. And moving on, you have to choice of university and department. You have to choose like you have to choose the universities which you're applying for. So we all know, like, if you're applying via the embassy track, then you get to choose like three different universities. But if you're applying via the university track, they have to choose just one university. So if you're applying via the embassy track, then you should tick this box, do not leave it blank. When you're done, your first choice, as you can see, is written type B. So ensure that the first choice which you're writing here is going to be type B. Remember that for embassy track, you get to select type Bs and type A universities. So if you're writing here, the first one should be the type B university, not type A. Do not make that mistake. So if you're not sure, when you go to the university Excel sheet, you see like if the university is under type A or type B. So you can refer to that to be very sure. So ensure that whatever university you're typing is a type B university. For example, I don't know, I know, well, no, I know Sunmoon University to be a type B university. So let's say Sunmoon university, and also ensure that you type in the name of the university correctly as it is written. If it's Sunmo National University, then it should be Sunmo National University and not just Sunmo University. And then your second choice could be a type A or type B. uh let's say, for example, I don't know, but make sure you fill like the correct information here. If it's a type A university, then you should put type A and spell it correctly, or type B, and then so on. So for me, it was Sunmoon Kyunghee University, and then my third choice was Sogang University. So you have to fill accordingly to the instruction which has been provided for you. So ensure the first one is the type B, then the second and third could be type A or type B. And then you have to also put the fields accordingly, liberal or whatever field it might be. As I said before, for example, my course for some university it was liberal, and then for some university it was social science. So, for example, the first one is liberal arts, okay. Then the second should be social sciences, and the third one was also, let's say, social sciences. This is just an example, but make sure you refer to the university information so you're filling in the correct thing. And do not leave the pink examples. Do not leave them. So always delete them and type in the appropriate thing. Liberal arts. Yes, and then you fill for the department. If there is no department specified in that Excel sheet, then you can leave it. But if the department has been specified, then ensure you fill the department. And also for some universities, they usually specify the major. So if the major has been specified on your university information, then please fix in the appropriate major that has been specified as it is in the document. Otherwise, you might get into, well, otherwise your document might not be considered, because the first part of the GKS application process is document screening, and document screening means they go through your documents accurately to be sure that you filled it properly. But if you're applying for the university track, then please just click the university track and then write the name of the university which you've selected. Is this correct? Can we put National University? I think this is correct. I am not sure. But if, for example, you apply for the university track, then you should put in the name of the university, put in the field of study, and so on and so forth. Okay. So for university track, it does not matter if it's a type A or type B, just put in the name of the university. Moving on, language abilities. If you do have like the topic proficiency, then you should put like the proficiency which you have. Do you have topic level one, two, three, four, five, six? Then you should specify. And if you know, having a topic level is very important because according to the guideline, there is a point given for each topic level which you have. I think if you have like let me see if I can find it. But if you've read through the guidelines properly, then you know that there are grades attached to particular levels of topic which you might have. So, for example, if you have topic level one, then you probably have like an extra point of, let's say, 40. If you have topic level two, um, if you have, yes, ta ta ta, I found it. So, if you have topic level one, you have um if you have topic level one, you get 60% if extra points to your application. If you have topic level two, 70%, 80 topic level three, 80%, and so on and so forth. So if you have topic, then please ensure you fill that because it will add to your application. It will be a plus. And then when you do fill the topic, because if you have topic, you have to prove because they would want to confirm. As I said earlier, this is like the part where they analyze your documents carefully. So they will have to also check the information. So if you've taken topic, you choose the level which you've taken. For example, topic three, you choose, or topic four, whatsoever. And then you fill in the exact dates which you took your topic. And when you fill the dates, make sure it's in black and not pink. Do not leave it as pink. I'm only changing this for example's sake. But when you're filling your documents, make sure you delete all pink examples. Make sure you delete all pink examples. And then if you have English proficiency test, then specify which of the tests you have. Is it IELTS or whichsoever one you have, and then the grade which you have, because this is also a plus for your application. So moving on, level of education. You have to fill in your level of education, your high school program required for all applicants. So do not leave this blank. The name of your high school, you have to fill in A, blah, 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 university. Please make sure to type in black. That was a mistake. So let's say, for example, the name of your university is, I don't know, but just type in the name of your high school. Just type in the name of your high school. Type in the location, maybe somewhere, for example, Incheon, Seoul. So if it's Incheon, Seoul, you write the name of the location and country as well, or whichever location it might be. And then year of graduation, you have to specify the year of graduation. If you can remember, or if you do have the exact date, no, if you can remember, if you check your high school document, you should see the exact date for your graduation. So you should be able to put in the exact date for graduation. And when you're typing, try to type in like the year first. It is not mandatory here, but if you do remember, you should type in that way because they type that way. Like they usually write the year, the month, and then the day for Korean calendar. That's how it works, or that's how they write. So it would be good if you're able to write that way. So you write the year of graduation, and then for your bachelor's degree, if you're applying for a master's, then you definitely have your bachelor's degree certificate. So you should also fill the information for your bachelor's degree certificate accordingly. You should fill the name of university which you graduated from, the location of the university, the country, the major which you studied then, and then graduation date. You should fill the year, the month, and then the date. And if applicable or if available, degree thesis. What was the title of your thesis in high school, in university? Sorry, you should type the title of your thesis here. For me, I added the what they call them, preliminary pages, or I don't know. But like the first few pages of my thesis, I added it to my application. So I did provide the name of my thesis, which I did in my undergraduate. And then, yes. So if you have also provided that, or even if you do not provide it, you can still put in the title of your thesis or books which you might have published during your undergraduate or during your master's if you're doing a doctoral program. And moving on, for master's degree applicants, they will also have to fill like the same information. For doctoral degree, they also have to fill the same information. And the CGPA part. So for this part, you have to fill in your CGPA. Be very careful when you're filling in this part. And also make sure you delete like the examples which have been provided for you here. You have to delete the examples. So you have to fill in your CGPA, and it says here that CGPA indicated on your original transcript. Highlight the CGPA on your transcript. For let's say for example, the CGPA on your transcript is like um let's say 4.5 of 5.0 that way, then you should fill it that way. So if the transcript does not indicate the grading scale, submit a supplementary document describing the university's grading system. So this document is supposed to be gotten from your university, from the dean of studies or the dean of something, the people who are responsible for providing you with your transcript in your university. You have to go there to get that document if at all your school's grading system is not specified. And then here it said converted CGPA. So for some persons, I don't know, but for some universities or for some countries, they don't usually provide like the exact CGPA or something. But I usually hear people saying something of they need to convert their CGPA. So if you're under that category, it says required for relevant applicants must be confirmed by the university. So if you're under that category, you have to do this part. But if you're not under that category, simply delete. Do not leave any pink examples. Delete. And then for score percentile, if your transcript does not have score percentile, refer to Appendix A of the guidelines, CG, GPA conversion table to convert your CGPA into 100-point scale. So when you do that, you will fill here. That's if your transcript does not have score percentile. But if your transcript does, please fill this part which you've seen on your transcript, fill it, delete the example which was here in pink, and then move on to the next part. Don't forget to read all instructions, so you read these instructions as well. So GPA indicated on your academic transcript of the previous degree program. So for universities or for students or for applicants who already have their transcript with their GPA indicated for each year, they would have to fill in for each year as it is on their transcript. So take your transcript and check exactly how it is provided for you on your transcript and fill in accordingly. So you have to fill in for the first semester, what was the cumulative points, the GPA at the time, the second semester of your 100 level, and then your your second year, your third year, and your fourth year. So you have to fill this. If needed, you can modify the column, which means if probably you had more than two semesters in 1 year, for example, you had like 3 semesters in a year, then you can modify this column, add an extra column, and fill in what you scored for that semester. And if your academic transcript only indicates CGPA and does not provide GPA per semester, then you can leave this table empty. So yes, if it does not, then please leave this table empty, but delete the example. Yes, do not leave the example, please, guys. You have to put in an accurate application. And then the previously received scholarship from Korean government. If you did receive any scholarship prior to GKS, then you should fill in this information. But if you did not, please delete the pink examples. Do not leave the pink examples for NIIED or anybody. Avoid any form of mistake, anything that looks like mistakes. Do not let them appear in your application. Then previous visit to Korea or currently residing. If you have visited Korea before, then you should fill in the information. Or if you're currently residing in Korea, then you should fill in this table with the accurate information. Otherwise, delete the pink examples. And then moving on, you have to fill this part. So some persons usually get confused on like the signature. Please do not sign the signature. Do not sign the signature on your document format. Print out your document and sign your signature because it has to be an original signature and not e-signature or like printed out signature. So fill in the date accordingly to year, month, and day and dates, and then your full name, and then when you print out your document, you sign with a pen. Then for personal statements, which you must have already typed, you which you must have already typed. If you've typed out your personal statement, then read this instruction which says that your personal statement, your essay should be within 3 pages, not more than 3 pages. It should be typed in Times New Roman format, and it should be 11, the size should be 11 points. These are like the three most important information here. So it should be within 3 pages, Times New Roman, 11 points. So when you've modified that on the side which you've typed before, you can copy and paste here. That's all you have to do. You don't have, I would not encourage typing your essay here because it might not be the accurate thing, or you might make certain mistakes, and it's not just wise typing there. And when you're done typing the dates, your full name, print out and then sign. Then your study plan should also be in that same format, 3 pages, Times New Roman, 11 points, and in this blank space. So if you've typed it in a different document, once you copy and you paste, everything fits in here till the end, so you don't have to worry. And then date, full name, and signature. So for research, for those who are applying for research, they will have to fill the research proposal part, but for master's students, it is, or for master's applicants, it is not necessary. Then this form 5 should be in the same envelope as your recommendation letter. If it is not in the same envelope as your recommendation letter, then you should do this. When you, okay, I'm going to actually create a video on how to fill application, but when you when you've received your recommendation letter from your professor or whosoever, you have to fill this form 5. That's if at all you didn't give it to them to fill. You have to fill this form 5, the master's degree part. When you do, you have your a blank A4 paper, and then you attach your recommendation letter in its envelope. You attach it with glue or something like, but you attach it to a plain A4 paper. You do not open, because once your professor or your recommender has given you the letter is supposed to be sealed with their signature on the flap, which means you do not have to open the letter. So when you've received it and the form is not in it, you just simply have to attach the form to a plain A4 paper. That's basically what you have to do. You don't try to open the recommendation letter. I beg of you. So you have to fill in then your name, your full name. You have to choose your program which you're applying for, and yes, attach this part. Except if you've given this part to your recommender to fill, then this part has to be inside the same envelope as your recommendation letter. Because if you've given it to your recommender, then you shouldn't have access to it. Then letter of invitation, this form is required for research program applicants. So if you apply for the research program, then you should provide a letter of invitation and fill the necessary information. And then date, president, university official, seal. So and then for those who have like the Korean language program exemption, they would have to fill this part. So this form is for applicants who are current university professors applying to departments that offers 100% English instructions. So if it is applicable to you, then please fill. If it is not, then let's proceed. Then the GKS applicant agreement, make sure you read carefully. Do not try to modify anything here, even if it's showing is like showing that there's like a grammatical error here. Do not modify. Simply tick the boxes which you're supposed to tick, and yes, tick every box which you're supposed to tick. Do not modify their sentences for them, please, and proceed. So once you're done, you also fill the dates, your full name, and then print out and sign. Print out and sign. Do not sign there. And moving on is the personal medical assessment. So the personal medical assessment is nothing serious. You don't have to overthink it. You basically just have to fill in accordingly. Like you just have to fill in based on your health situation for the past, let's say, the past 5 years, how you've been health wise. So have you ever had an infectious disease that poses a risk to public health? Tuberculosis? Yes, no. I I do not know, but coughing is also like uh, an infectious disease that pose risks, because once you cough in a public place, someone else might also get it. So yes, you get to decide if yes, no. If you choose yes, then you have to explain. For example, I had cough and I was coughing in public places or something like that. Or I had cough and it affected my siblings or like my family. But just explain if yes. Because if you say yes, then you need to make them understand what kind of disease you had that posed a threat to public health. And then, do you have allergies? Are you allergic to dust? Are you allergic to garlic? Are you allergic to chocolate? Whatever allergy you have, specify your allergy. And then, if you do not, then no. But whenever you pick no, or whenever I tick no, you don't have to explain. And then, do you have hypertension? Yes or no? Do you have diabetes? Do you have any type of, what's this, hepatitis? Then you have to specify. Have you ever suffered or been treated of for depression, anxiety, or other mental or blah blah blah? These do not affect your application. They basically want to know, and as provided, you have to explain in what situation. Maybe something that happened like 10 years ago, then be like 10 years ago, this happened, and that's it. It does not affect your application. So please provide your answers accurately and sincerely, because at the end of the day, even when you're coming to Korea, you still have to do like medical assessments, an actual medical assessment at the hospital for them to confirm. So this does not affect your application. They basically just want to know. Have you ever been addicted to alcohol? Yes or no? Have you ever abused narcotics, stimulants or whatsoever? Yes or no? Have you ever been hospitalized in the past 2 years? Yes, no, yes. In what situation? Have you had any serious injury? Yes or no? Do you have any visual or hearing impairment? Yes or no? Do you have any physical disabilities? Yes or no? Do you have any cognitive mental disabilities? Yes or no? Are you taking any prescribed medication? Are you on a special diet? Just specify and explain. And once you're done, print out to sign. Do not sign electronically. Print out to sign. You have to fill your date, your name, and then signature. If you're filling out and this affects, because this is where you're supposed to fill out the dates anyways. So you have to fill the dates. Let's say try to always start with the year, dates, and then your full name, and then your signature. So you can modify this because the length of your name or something, but ensure you do like the needful, which is the date, applicant's name, and signature, and it has to be on one line. So try, well, except if your name is too long. If it is, then If it's longer than what should be here, then yes. So when you arrange it in this manner, if you print out, you're able to have your signature here. So you have the dates, you have your name, and then you have your signature. So try to modify this to be on a single line. If you can't modify it to be on a single line, then yeah, if your name is too long, then I think signature can follow down. Then the consent to collect and use personal information. So basically, this is for you to consent, because when you submit these documents, they do not do away with them immediately, even if you get the scholarship or not. It's basically for data. It's basically data. So you would have to consent to this information. But please do well to carefully read all the information and agree. If you disagree to any, if you can't consent, or if any of these stand against your reason for application, which means if you disagree, that single thing means you won't be able to make it through the document screening process because you've disagreed. And then for this as well, please read through carefully and disagree or agree. And then dates, your name, and signature. Yes, so basically, uh, this is how you fill the application form for the Global Career Scholarship. I think I've been very detailed enough, but if there are still questions, please ask. And I highly recommend watching this video carefully and watching it till the end, so you ask appropriate questions and not probably questions on what I have already mentioned in the video. So, yes, please fill your form carefully. And after filling your form, you don't have to be in a rush, because I mean, they have announced, or rather, they've posted this on the Studying Career website, but it doesn't mean applications will close tomorrow or will close next week. You have to confirm with your embassy or whichever institution, check the university documents to know when the university's due date is. So know when the deadline is for your application before you hurriedly submit. So when you fill in the application form, take time to review it again. If you've already filled in your application form today, you can look at it again by tomorrow or look at it again by Monday. Just go through it carefully at any time you can, just to ensure that you do not have any mistakes. You've not left any pink examples. You've not left your name misspelled. You've not filled in the name of the receiving institution wrongly. You've not filled in anything wrongly. So make sure you cross check after filling. If you have a close friend or family around, ask them to help you look at it again, because your eyes could be very tricky after reading all through, or reading through all of this. You might just get confused and be like, oh wait, I think this is correct, but it might not be correct. So check your documents properly over and over, because the first point or the first stage of the GKS application is the document screening. So check your documents carefully so you do not have any mistakes. And when you apply or when you're arranging your document, don't forget you check your checklist. It has to be accurate and it has to tally with the documents which you've provided here. If you do not have your passport here, do not click this. Moreover, it's not mandatory, it is optional. So if you do not have your passport here, do not check what you do not have. Only check the things or the documents that are applicable to you. So, yes, I think that's basically it. And I really wish everybody all the best with the application from whichever country you are applying for. Well, sadly for Nigeria, they reduced the quota for university track applicants. But all the same, definitely, if you've put in a very good application, then you'll definitely get through the second stage, the third stage, and the final stage, and you'll be able to come to Korea and experience all the beautiful things. So yes. Okay, someone asked the question. So I'm not meant to delete the part they wrote date, and no, 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 no. you don't have to delete that part. So it says, thank you, Sam, for that signing part. So I'm not meant to delete the parts they wrote, date, and applicant's name because I deleted mine, but I added the needed details. Those matter. Yes, they matter, but do not delete. Like I even gave the example I was saying, even though you're going through the part and you see like there's a misspelling, do not modify what they've written. Delete only what you've been asked to delete, which is the pink examples. Any other thing, do not delete. Delete the pink examples, but do not delete any other thing. Do not modify any other thing. Write the date, your name, and signature because they've provided those things there. You don't have to delete. You only have to delete what you've been asked to delete. Do not make mistakes with your application. Try to fill in your application as carefully as you can. So yes, in my next video, it might not be a live video, but in the next video I'll be explaining how to arrange your documents because it seems like we have a long time, but before you know, the application deadline will be here for universities and embassies. So yes, I wish everybody applying for the 2025 Global Career Scholarship the very best. I hope as many as can will get through the scholarship and will be able to come to Korea because it seems like every year the system changes, but for the best, we will all be in Korea dreaming or rather studying in our dream country and experiencing the best of it. So thank you so much for joining this live, and for those who were not able to join, please make sure you watch the video to the end, and good luck with your application. See you all soon. Bye. Okay.